All very, very good information, Michael. And I actually have a question. I have a friend recently who got married, and I know that since then it's been a little more difficult for her to keep her finances under control because it used to just be her and her money, and now it's someone else, and it's all pooled together, and they have double the expenses, and things get a little messy. So I'm sure you've had this question before. What do you tell people who are newly married or have been married for a long time or living together? How do you tell them to help keep their finances in control when that can just make things so much harder?
Well, that certainly is a big issue and one major reason why people end up coming to us to sit down with us and talk about their finances, because they are arguing with their spouse about it. They are not sure how to handle money when they're in a relationship. And the most important thing is that both parties need to have an equal role. You can't have one person just making all the decisions for the family finances because, one, they may not be that good at it, and two, that can build up resentment. And everyone needs to have some money to decide on their own, independently, what it is they want to do with that money. An adult shouldn't have to ask permission because they want to spend some money on lunch. So one of the things we created was something called his, hers, and ours. And what this is an idea where you sit down when you're being rational, you do a household budget, and you figure out how much money do we have coming in every month, what are our fixed expenses, what are our variable expenses, and how much do we have left over. Of that leftover, how much we want to put towards savings, how much we want for discretionary spending. And then of discretionary spending, it gets split between the two. Most usually we say it should be equal, but depending on the situation, one person may have a need for more than the other. You can decide that amongst the couple. But then every paycheck or monthly, both or the paychecks all get deposited in the hours account, but then that's only for household expenses. Everything discretionary comes out of his or hers. And we can see this makes a tremendous difference because this can help put things into perspective for us. I know when I started it myself personally, I looked into it, and then you start going home and say you want to go out to dinner tonight, and your wife's going to ask, well, who's paying? That's a valid question. And say, okay, well, we'll split it. And the spouse may say, no, I'm not interested. I'm going to stay home today. But then when you go out, you start thinking about things. How much money should I spend on, should I have a drink? Should I have anything to drink? Don't have an appetizer. Do I need it? And when it's coming out of your account that has $200 in it versus your joint checking account that has $1,200 in it, it puts things in a little different perspective, especially when you know at the end of the week you're not going to have any money for this. And it helps teach our kids again. One of the things that I also suggest is, helping our kids learn the expenses. For example, when you're going out to eat, if you have a child that's old enough, saying to them, all right, did you want something to drink, soda, milk, juice, or did you want $1? Then they can start making these same decisions. In economics, it's called the opportunity cost. Every dollar spent is a lost opportunity to spend that dollar somewhere else. So we say, by having to make these hard decisions, decide where is it I want to spend my money. And realizing once that dollar's spent, you can't put it anywhere else. And, kids at 6, 7 years old, they'll start to understand that. And they'll start realizing that every expense is really a financial decision.
Well, that's a lot of great and very practical information, and it sounds like maybe that his, hers, and ours could not only help your finances, but your waistline, too.
And your relationship.
Well, that's always good. Everybody needs that. Great information, very practical. And like we've said before, this is Michael McAuliffe with Family Credit Management. And there's lots of counselors with all sorts of information to give you at Family Credit Management. Here's their phone number and some of these services that they provide. So go ahead and give them a call. Talk to one of their counselors. They're all very friendly and helpful, and they can help you with just about any money management, personal finance, or credit situation that you might have. And I think we could all use a friend who knows a little bit about money every once in a while, so that's always great to know. Now, Michael, another issue that I think a lot of people face isn't just mismanaging their money, but mismanaging the accounts that they keep their money in. And I'm sure you have people coming to you all the time. It kind of rolls over into the other. So what is something that you suggest to people with that kind of problem?
Well, actually, yeah. Checking accounts can be difficult to manage, and they seem to be getting more difficult now. It's another problem with joint accounts. You have two people with debit cards, ATM cards, and they're out, making purchases. Next thing you know, you've got no money in the account. Or two people made withdrawals for the weekend, and they didn't talk to each other about it, and now you're bouncing checks. And the banks, NSF check charges are extremely expensive and going up every single year. And two, the banks will close your account. And there's something called check systems, and you get put in check systems, and then most banks won't want to open an account for you in the future. And not having a bank account is extremely costly. But what's bad is that we weren't taught about money management, about how to manage a checking account, about how it all works, about electronic transactions, reconciling, how a register works. Most of those things are things we were never taught about. What we've done is we've partnered with the University of Wisconsin and eFunds, who's the parent of check systems. And we've created a course. It's called Get Checking. It's a second chance checking account class. We offer this in downtown Chicago. It's completely free. It's on a Saturday. It's about a 4 to 5 hour course where we cover all of these important topics. Everything from managing your credit report, understanding your credit report, reconciling a checking account, how checking accounts work, how savings accounts work. We often have a bank representative there to answer questions. We have one of our people there, answering questions. And we really go into all aspects of finance, money management. This course costs you nothing. It gets you a lot of good real world information. And we've been doing this for several years now. We put thousands of people throughout the state in the program, through the class. And afterwards, they all tell us this should be taught in schools. This is important information. This is good information. I'm so glad I took this. So I really encourage you, to call our offices and say, hey, I want to sign up for the Get Checking class. Where is it? When's the next one by me? Because it really is a good class. It's a free class, and it teaches us all the things that we should have learned but don't know.
Well, that sounds like a great program, and it sounds like that might be something great to possibly even put a teenager through. So they get it started off right.
Yeah, we hear that all the time, and we're in the class, we talk about things such as payday lenders. And payday lenders charge us so much money. We see them. We've seen 2,200% APR on a payday loan.
Oh, no.
And when you think about that, that's simply just ridiculous. And most of the people we see, you roll them over. If you don't have the money today, you're not going to have it in 2 weeks. You've got to try to figure out some other alternative but a payday loan. And now the payday lenders are out there advertising to us, go ahead and do this because you need some extra money. Bad idea. It's not for gifts. It's not for anything. And it's really expensive. And we strongly encourage you to stay away from them. That's one of the things you'll learn in the class. A lot of mistakes to avoid.
Well, that sounds like some great information. We're going to go ahead and put Family Credit's information on the screen one more time before we wrap up, as we've been saying during the whole show. If you'd like to call, speak to a credit counselor, ask some questions anonymously, and see what might be a good path for you to take in the future with your money, that's a great option for you. This is our show, Money Problems. We will be on every Monday night at 6:30 on CAN TV 21. If you have any questions, please go ahead and give us a call next week at 6:30. My guest tonight has been Michael McAuliffe with Family Credit Management. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, Michael.
Thank
you.
We
look forward to having you back very soon. And thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week, where you can talk to us about more of your money problems. Good night.
Good night.